Water. You got to figure 1 gallon per day per person for drinking and hygiene, and 2 gallons if you include cooking and clothing. You'd be amazed at how much, in the Marines, how little water you actually need to, to essentially clean yourself. You may not, smell, completely clean, but you can get rid of the grub on your body, in your pits and your crotch, and, get around your neck, and if you keep your hair short, you don't have to worry about that. And you don't need to, go through, 40 gallons of a shower. You can just use baby wipes were essential for us. Think about having a rain barrel. You have all this water that just naturally runs off into the ground, and if you get a rain barrel, you can start storing that, and again, build that buffer. Tarps are a great way of harvesting water. You can put water in storage and use just a little bit of bleach to keep it decontaminated. They have like non-flavored water, non-flavored bleach or whatever that doesn't have that bleach smell in it. You can use just a little cup of it, and again, look on the internet to find the exact levels that you can put in there, and it will keep the water clean. A simple water evaporator. If you want clean water, one that doesn't have chemicals in there, you can pour water into a black garbage bag tin and put a glass over it. The sunlight burns through the glass, obviously, warms up the water, causes it to evaporate. The evaporated water collects on the glass, and then it runs off into a collecting bin, and that's a really easy way and very cheap and inefficient way of getting clean drinking water. Also, look at buying a reverse osmosis water filter. Anything like these Berkey water filters where there are these teeny nanoparticle holes that are in these filters, and that the water molecules travel through but keep out all the other toxins and minerals and all that other stuff. While it is important to have all the minerals for drinking in a survival situation, and you want to stay healthy and you need clean water, absolutely important to have that. And then kind of the top line is these atmospheric water generators, and something I'm definitely going to be buying. And essentially it works just like an air conditioner unit. It condenses water out of the air, runs it through a filter, and I mean, here you have water out of the air. You don't have a water bill. You don't have to worry about jugs or anything. It produces water out of the air. They're not cheap. I think cheap ones go for $1,000. What I'm looking at is like, $1,400. But if you think about it, how long it lasts and the quality that you're getting, it's a small price to pay, because water is definitely one of the most important things to have. Food. Freeze-dry food. It's a great way of storing food for a long term. If food is freeze-dried, sealed, it can literally last forever. 20 years. You can also vacuum pack your food with oxygen absorbers. The reason why you suck the air out of it is because oxygen is what causes these foods to deteriorate and go bad. So if you can vacuum seal it and put oxygen absorbers in there, it will help make your food last a lot longer. MREs are a good way of preparing. I've certainly eaten enough of them in my life, and you kind of get sick of the food. They have gotten better, but they're kind of bulky, and they're a little bit expensive, more than the stuff that you can buy, but it's an essential part. Even if you get a couple cases just to have as backup, it might be a treat after eating all this dried fruit. Grains, flour, sugar, so you can actually make bread. Bread is definitely the easiest thing to make, probably the most worldwide food that we all have. And I recommend having 3 layers of food preparations. One is, the first month of food that you can go through is your everyday stuff. And this should never run out. So when you go shopping, typically, a wife goes shopping every 2 weeks, and you only have 2 weeks worth of food in your house. Push that up to a month. It makes for bigger shopping trips, but it's important to do that. You should have a 3 to 6 month backup of dehydrated and freeze-dried food supplies. Maybe extra peanut butter, crackers, stuff that doesn't necessarily go bad but won't last forever. Just buy a little bit extra every time you go to the store and put it in a separate place. Maybe in an outside area where you don't even look at it. And then when you run out of your normal food, when you go to the store, again, buy up to fill up that supply, and then put all that excess food away. And you don't even think about it. It's just like saving money. And then have this long term where everything else can be stored on top of that, and consider long alternate storage locations. If you have another property or have another house or even a storage area, if you could put food elsewhere, so if you don't have access or can't get near your initial area of food, you have a backup location to go to. An adult needs a minimum of 2,500 calories a day. And the reason why it's so high is because you're going to be a lot more physically active than you are right now. If things get bad, you're going to be working outside many hours, preparing things, taking care of things. You're not going to be sitting there on a computer or watching TV because the power's out. So you have to at least plan for that. And start thinking of your food storage as a calorie bank account. This is a cool way of picturing it. Think about the amount of calories that a person needs, and you can calculate how much calories that you're storing. Think about that as a real bank account instead of having these digital dollars in your stocks that mean nothing. If you can become rich on calories stored, to me that's a great way of thinking about preparing for this. And store what you eat and eat what you store. Don't buy food that you're never going to eat thinking that you're going to acquire a taste later. Get stuff that you enjoy now and start trying it now. Start trying with these food preps that you're building up so that you don't buy more of this stuff if you don't like it. Begin building your food storage by buying 2 or 3 extra items every time you shop at the grocery store. Keep it airtight, keep it cool, keep it dark, and keep it dry. And keep it protected. The goal is to keep food at 70 degrees or below, and for every 10 degrees cooler, your food life doubles. Every 10 degrees warmer than 70 degrees, it falls in half. Metal trash cans, plastic tub containers, or buckets, all lined with 4mm black trash can liners, will help insulate food from temperature and extreme. Protect food from sunlight, which destroys nutrients, and also from moisture that creates mold, or rodents who will grow in population as swarming numbers as modern society falls apart. So if you're able to keep these black trash can liners that are thick ones, not these chintzy ones that you get at the store, it'll prevent from moisture getting into it, sunlight, and mold. And again, mold grows because it has oxygen and light to be able to grow. Items needed for packaging food. Food-grade Mylar bags. I recommend at least 4.5 milliliter thick bags in 1 gallon size. They'll hold about 4 to 6 pounds depending on the bulk of the food products. Oxygen absorber packs. It takes 2 of these for each 1 gallon. 11 by 13 or similar size Mylar bags full of food. Silica gel, which is that stuff that you find in shoes to keep things dry. They absorb any residue moisture that may reside in your food and prevent mold. And a sealer. This is a very expensive piece of equipment, and when I say expensive, they can run from $100 or $200, but it's very important to have. Directions for sealing bags would go like this. Set the sealer to vacuum and seal. Turn the sealer on and let it warm up for at least 2 minutes. Place the silica gel packs in the bottom of the Mylar bag. You can pour flour, rice, grain into the bag. And this can be done single-handedly, but from my experience, it's much easier to have someone help holding the Mylar bag since it's slick and doesn't have a flat bottom to keep it airtight. Place in 2 cc oxygen packs on top of the food. Be sure to keep the unused oxygen packs sealed in an airtight container so that they'll stay fresh. I know one buddy who bought all these oxygen absorbers and forgot to put the lid on and basically destroyed the use of all of them. Hold the bag, pull tight both ends of the open bag, and then place it in the sealer. Check that the seal, by attempting to, after you're done, attempt to opening it just a little bit just to see if it's secure. If it is secure, you won't be able to open it up or you won't see air rushing into it. Also, push the bag and watch to see if air leaks out because none of it should. So just like you're trying to open it, push it out and see if you can squeeze air out of it, and you won't be able to if it's done right. This is an important step. Put permanent marker and write on the bag the date, the weight, and the description of what's in the food. Grow your own food. This is another thing that you could start storing. Even if you don't even know how to do this, if you at least have it when the time comes, you'll have it. Get some seed, fertilizer, have a water harvesting system with rain barrels that you can use when the time comes. The deeper you till, the more compact the planting. This was another interesting thing that I saw, where these people out in California were able to grow much more food per acre simply because they tilled the ground much deeper, allowing the roots to grow, allow better water access to grow, and they were able to plant the plantings much closer to each other and have them survive. But if you just stick a seed in the ground and the ground's hard, the plant won't grow to its potential. In the survival situations, potatoes are the easiest and most dense food to grow. I see how many calories you can grow in a small amount of area. So potatoes are very important things to be able to grow, and they're very easy to grow too. So I would definitely recommend starting there. Maybe even building a greenhouse if you live in colder climates. That'll extend your growing season. Permaculture is a great thing that I stumbled upon, and the theory is having plants around you that provide food naturally. And so get rid of your landscape that you have and put some fruit and nut trees, vines, and bushes into the landscaping. So start thinking of your landscaping as food producers. Look for perennial and low-maintenance plants. And get rid of non-edible vegetation in your yard. I could definitely see a scenario where people start ripping up their sod lawns only to grow real food in their backyards and to make their yards work for them. That's a sustainable, natural lifestyle. Not only are you getting food cheaper, you're outside, you're working, you're getting the exercise and the sunlight, you have that sense of accomplishment that you're eating literally the fruits of your labor, and you're eating healthier live food. You can start ripping up those water-intensive lawns and plant new vegetation that you can eat and even sell.